Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Nick Jain. And I'm so happy you said yes. Welcome. And how are you doing today?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm doing well. I'm happy, healthy, and alive. So today's a good day.
It is indeed. I can feel it, and I would love to introduce you to the audience. You are the CEO of IdeaScale, the world's largest innovation software company, helping top organizations like the US Post Office and Pfizer innovate more effectively. A Harvard Business School graduate, you have led companies in industries ranging from trucking to B2B software. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast again, Nick Jain.
Thank you again. And thank you for the wonderful bio introduction.
So amazing to meet you today. We met through Podmatch. I have to mention this because I'm so amazed by this platform and all those beautiful people. My first question to you is, what drew you to the innovation space, and how did your diverse background across industries prepare you for leading IdeaScale?
Sure. So there's two questions, several questions there, and I'll try and answer them both. The first is throughout my career, one of the things I've always struggled with is in a lot of large organizations, what matters most is how senior you are. People don't really care about what your idea is until you're very, very senior. And that's really a missed opportunity because a lot of young people or people who may not be at the headquarters of an organization or who may speak a different language, their great ideas never get to be heard. And that's literally IdeaScale's business. We help great ideas be heard in complex organizations where your voice gets drowned out very easily. So that's what drew me to IdeaScale. I genuinely believe in our mission because it solves a pain point that I felt throughout my career. The second thing is about what prepares me for IdeaScale. I think it's a few things. The first half of my career was spent on Wall Street, where I had the great privilege of seeing many different businesses, some well run, some poorly run, and getting to be in the room with some extraordinary leaders, teachers, and mentors, and learning about how to run a good organization. Like, how do you run good HR, good finance, good strategy, good marketing? And now I have the opportunity to apply that at leading IdeaScale and continue. We've been around for 15 years. I have, again, the great privilege of continuing that journey with IdeaScale.
Wow, I love what you said. And now I understand. So first you learn it, right? And then you apply it to your life, or you develop ideas or idea scale. I love the name, by the way. It's so innovative. I understand now what you mean by this. So that ideas don't get lost, right? You get hurt, and you bring, what do you bring together? The companies that develop the ideas and the people who have the ideas?
No, so what our software does is it takes a large organization who may have lots of great ideas within the organization, but not a good way to collect them. And it allows people within the organization or their customers or people who care about the organization to contribute their ideas. So you can almost think of it like a central repository where anyone within the organization can contribute their great ideas that advance the organization's mission. And that's part one, collecting all the ideas. Part two is helping the best ideas float to the top and get the most visibility. Almost like if you think of a social network, right? A social network, the most viral ideas, the upvoted ideas, the posts, the images, the videos on TikTok, they rise to the top. We do that for ideas instead of dance videos.
Oh, I understand. Now I understand because I understand TikTok. It's so easy, And when you were talking about the ideas, I remember companies having those mailboxes somewhere at the wall. It was 30 years ago or so. And then people could put in their ideas, and they were not inspired to do so. I think the app is a great way to do it. It has to do with playing. Feels like playing when you insert something and then you evaluate. I don't know if you give 5-star ratings for the ideas.
Well, we give up and down votes just like you would on Facebook or TikTok, but obviously you then add up a whole bunch of up votes or down votes to get a net score of the idea. Because ideas actually have value, right? You can figure out that this idea is worth €1 or $10 or 1,000 yen in the private sector, but in the public sector, we have a lot of government clients. And they're really concerned about how are they impacting their constituents' lives and making more of a difference, because that's any government agency's responsibility. So ideas are valued less on stars and more on the impact they could have on their target market or constituency.
Yes. Or for example, the question, what idea is brought into life first? Right?
Yeah. So that's one of the questions organizations struggle with really three things, right? Like getting the ideas in the first place. Number two is figuring out which ideas are good and which ideas are less good. And number three, sequencing those ideas. The great thing that I think a lot of organizations miss out on is they can answer all those questions if they just ask their people, because they have really smart people hanging around the organization. Unfortunately, there's just not a good way to do so up until, companies like ours sprang into existence.
I understand. So the lack is in not asking enough questions or the right questions.
It's the more the former. It's not asking questions in the first place. Like, how often does the CEO of a billion-dollar company or of a government organization with 100,000 employees go ask their junior most employee who just graduated college, like, hey, what do you think? Never. That never happens, right? But with the cool power of software is it makes it happen. It's the same reason why you can see a funny TikTok video from someone in Vietnam that you would never see or experience, because you may not be hanging out with somebody on the streets of Vietnam. We do that for ideas so that you don't have to go travel to these, random places or go talk to every junior employee. The best ideas rise up.
Wow, I love that so much because it leads you into the unknown as well. You would never travel to Vietnam, you said, but there's the idea you need for your business,
Exactly.
for the
Yeah, you wouldn't
government.
even know. Like, I've never been to Vietnam myself. Maybe one day I'll go, but I don't know if I'll discover the greatest food there because I'll be there for a couple of days, right? Uh, but in this case, the best food, in using the Vietnam analogy, the best food is being pushed to me because the world has recognized that that's the great food that I need to be having, or the great idea, or the great dance video in TikTok's case.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I learned something. Okay, let's have a look at my next question. Can you share a recent success story from one of your clients that showcases the impact of systematic innovation?
Sure. So one of our clients is one of the largest cryptocurrency think tanks in the world. So it's a very cutting edge piece of technology, and cryptocurrency requires some very, very smart mathematicians, from tens of thousands of smart mathematicians. So they run campaigns almost every month to solve really difficult technical problems. For any of your listeners who care about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum, one of the biggest problems is these types of technology, these cryptocurrency technologies, they actually can't move data very fast, unfortunately. That's a really difficult technical problem for people to solve. The cool thing is, if you ask a million people on how to solve it, and they're all really smart mathematicians or engineers, someone there is going to come up with a pretty cool idea. And that's exactly what happened. That, like, somebody somewhere in the world was able to contribute an idea that solved this really difficult technical problem on how do you get more data moving through these cryptocurrency exchanges that are otherwise reasonably slow.
Wow, it sounds like light speed or speeding up
Well,
the.
that's the problem. How do you beat the speed of light is actually the mathematics. I'm a physicist by training. So the problem is, how do you beat the speed of light? And that's kind of hard.
It is. And I would like to know at that point, how do the people, so can I use this app and insert an idea, or is it special? It's for the company.
So our software is entirely free for individuals or organizations less than 100 people. If you go to ideascale.com, there's a get started free button. If you're by yourself, or if you're with a smaller or mid-sized organization, our software is entirely free for you. And it's in lots of individuals use it just to keep track of their own ideas, so they don't have to keep it in their emails or on notepads. And small sized organizations use to collaborate because they may have remote workforces. And then obviously large organizations is our market where we try and run a business. And there we add some more fancy features that are relevant to those larger organizations as a commercial business.
Because my question aimed to the answer of how do I get how do I get paid for my idea when I insert an idea and it is
Well,
shown.
you can hide your ideas. Like, if you're using our software, your ideas are secret to you unless you decide to share them with somebody. So the way you'll get paid for your ideas is you don't share them until somebody pays you. Uh, right? Or conversely, it's funny that there's something I once heard. It's called the 4 Gs in English. Why do people do things? And they do it. There's 4 motivations. They do it for gold, basically money. They do it for glory. They just like being famous. Number 3, they do it for guts, to show I solved this problem that no one else could, just to show that you're that good. And number 4, they do it for the common good of humanity. So when you say, how do I get paid for my ideas? Some people aren't looking for money for their ideas. They're looking for recognition. Some people just want to do the right thing and make the world a better place. Like Gandhi wasn't trying to make money off his ideas, right? He was trying to create a movement.
I love that you mentioned Gandhi, because his name starts with the G too.
I did not think about that, but coincidental.
Yes, it's great, because it's when you think about the good for all, for humanity, then you can mention Gandhi, because
I'm gonna use that now.
oh, thank you, because he was content with the little things in life, and not so much. But I focus on, because I heard of people, they contributed their ideas to a company, and they get paid nothing, or and it was their idea. So I was thinking of that.
So for large organizations, that's actually one of the things we encourage them to do. That if you want people to really engage with you and give you their best ideas, you have to reward them. And sometimes that can be with money, but there's, again, lots of other things that motivate people to show up and work hard, right? A fun example I saw from one of our government clients who aren't allowed to offer additional monetary compensation. They gave, the boss had a reserved parking spot, so they decided to give the boss's parking spot to whatever junior employee had the greatest ideas. And that's really fun, where you don't have to look for parking, which is very difficult in Washington, D.C. You have a private reserved spot that's normally for somebody very, very senior, and that's your spot, which is kind of cool.
Yes, and I think it's even better than monetary.
Exactly. Money is not the only thing that motivates people. A lot of people just want to be recognized and appreciated for the fact that they made a difference.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you for contributing with your app to solve that problem. So it's not about only ideas and money in exchange for money. It's the recognition, appreciation. And you mentioned the 4 Gs, which was, I love that, with the 5G with Gandhi. And we can invent other stuff. Of course,
I'll have to come up with a guy with a person with the last name G for each one of the 4 Gs now, if I use Gandhi. That'll be a lot of effort. But you know what? I'm not going to solve it. I'm going to ask other people for their ideas. Give me ideas for names that start with G.
Yeah, that's the best idea, because as we know from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I assume you read it also, then he said, or he advises us to use other people's brains, right? Other people's brains, other people's money. Okay, let's have a look at my next question. What are the biggest challenges organizations face in innovating today, and how do you see IdeaScale evolving to meet these needs in the future?
That's a tough one. So, so there's 3 questions there. First is, what are the challenges organizations face? And I think it boils down to 2 things. Number 1 is, by the time you're a large organization, think of it like a factory. You've gotten very good at producing one type of good or doing one thing really well. And it's really difficult. Innovation, by definition, means changing. And it's really hard if a factory is designed to build cars or light bulbs to then go to build something entirely different. And I'm not just talking in manufacturing. That can be true in any organization. When you're big and good at doing one thing, it's really hard to go do something else. That's number 1. Number 2 is, I think a lot of organizations until recently have not realized that they actually need to innovate every day, right? A good example of this is Intel, as you may have been following in the news. For 40 or 50 years, Intel was the best semiconductor company in the world. And I think they got a little too proud of themselves that they didn't need to keep innovating. And they unfortunately had to make some really difficult decisions recently because they did not innovate. My favorite line that I always like to say is, if you're not innovating, just remember that your competitors still are. That sense of paranoia, right? You have to know that everyone out there, you're competing against the rest of the world. What this means, I think, for IdeaScale is a few things. The good news for us in our industry is that a lot of organizations have started realizing the world moves really fast and we need to innovate. That's why a lot of organizations I have started to have chief innovation officers. I was actually just chatting with a senior person at the Max Planck Institutes in Germany, and they've been, they're already very innovative, but they were thinking, no, we actually need to be even more innovative. So what this has meant for us is the types of problems that our software is being asked to solve are much more complex. I think we got really good at solving about 30 or 40% of the innovation problem, but now our customers are saying, we want more. We want you to help with this part of the innovation problem and that part. What that's meant is we've started to expand our product suite. So really on this call, we really talked a lot about our idea management solution, but we've started to attack other parts of the innovation problem, including the culture part, including the unstructured thinking part, the project management part, the AI part. There's some really cool AI co-pilot things we're about to launch in a few months. So what this means for IdeaScale is that our customers are demanding that we solve more of or help them solve more of the innovation problems they face, rather than one thing that we've historically been known for.
Yes, I understand. It's always about
We need to innovate. They're pushing us to innovate.
Yes, that's great. They are demanding, and
They should.
they get the delivery one day because you are thriving as well. Wow, I love that so much. Thank you so much. It's as if I have asked about your goals and your next projects, right? It's the same. So we know where you are going now. And I think now it's time for your last thoughts to the audience. And please include where people can find you. Please reach out to Nick. He's amazing when they want to connect.
Sure. So the parting thoughts I'd have are, look, I think our software, we try and do right for the world. We offer our software entirely free to small organizations and individuals. I would encourage all of your users to go sign up for a free IdeaScale account, put their ideas on there, keep them private, share them with the world, whatever you want. Our software is really good, easy to use, takes 2 minutes to sign up and start using it. If you want to reach out to me, there's 2 ways to do so. First is you can find me on LinkedIn. If you search Nick Jain, I'm almost always the #1 result on LinkedIn, and I respond to 100% of messages there. Number 2 is you can also email me directly at nick.jain@ideascale.com.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I will test IdeaScale. You encouraged me. I
That's
never
awesome.
thought of it, but now I feel like, yes, I can do this. I can share my ideas or keep them private. Thank you so much for our interview. I'm so inspired now. I hope you too.
Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
Thank you and see you in the next episode.